Thank you very much for watching this video. In this video, I basically demonstrate what it's like to be an ICT lecturer. So first of all, I have my collaborate session open because every hour, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, between the hours of 1 to 7, I'm online to be available for my learners or for the learners in the units that I teach. And I just said I'm excusing myself there because I had a meeting, but I'm back. So I'll just wait for the students to arrive, and you can see there's my photo here, or if you want to see who I am, here I am. But I think it's better for the students to look at a tree rather than myself. So I give them that. Then I have my microphone on, obviously, and basically when the students are ready to come in and discuss issues that pertain to their studies, then I'm there. I have two screens, so that's why you cannot see what's happening on the other screen. Um, Now, just to go back, I'm teaching about 14 units. You see them all here listed. And so what I do while I'm waiting for students to arrive is that I usually fix units. So I'm not gonna, this is one and so this is the announcements page. Here is the discussion page. In the discussion board, I basically design tasks. So I have to make sure that the tasks align with the unit. So basically what I'm working on right now is I'm reconfiguring module 1 here. And this is what I'm doing with module 1. So you have week 1, and week 1 is here, which are introduction to the context of technologies curriculum in Australia. And what I have done is I have, as you can see here, let me explain, sorry. Here you just have a title, a weekly title, and you only have 2 links, right? Those are great links, but that's all you have. And so for 1 week, which is 5 working days, the students only have to get to read 2 links and nothing much. So what I'm doing right now is, as you can see, is I'm trying to reuse the links and to provide students with some tasks. So here they have to visit the SCCE, and then I ask them, choose an article, and based on that article, tell us how it relates to your vision of the future of ed technology. So it's to engage them to start thinking about the topic at hand. And so then in the discussion board, I have to design a task, which would be this one. Okay, so that's week 1B, ACCE, visit the Australian Council of Computers Education, and then find an article. And so here is a chance for the students to report on the article that they have read, and hopefully it engages them to discuss issues. Now, I have to admit that we are now in week 4, so it's a little bit late for me to be fixing all this. However, as you saw before, my learners are not on Collaborate right now. So I'm using my time effectively to stay on Collaborate in case students come in late. And at the same time, I'm reconfiguring their unit, which means that hopefully by the end of today, as you can see, there are other videos there. As you can see, this is week 2. I reconfigured week 2 with a learning task, and I'm currently on week 3. So hopefully by the end of this day, I will have week 4 done. And so my students will be up to date with all of the tasks. And if they haven't done anything because they didn't have a lot to do, they can start looking at a variety of videos about ICT within the Australian context and what it means. And they have to sort of think about the future of ICT in an Australian school context. And then here we're revisiting ACARA, but now we're looking at ICT capabilities. We're looking at other sites, and then the spelling mistake there, it should be Etzel's. And then I'm giving them the links to the various states in Australia that explains, that interprets ICT integration in the classroom. So to give you an idea, I'm going to first fix the spelling mistake here. So I'm using LearnLine, which is a Blackboard system, and I can enter in the editing site, and it's a simple case of typing and saving, right? So in week 3 we have this link here, which is the Australian. So this page cannot be found, but as you will see in week 3, I'm going to click on this one. This one cannot be found, not found, and not found. So these two links don't work because the education victoria.gov.au, and there seems to be a problem. So what I'm going to do is read this link here and try to find what that link is. So this one is about teaching and teacher support, so I think I can find that one. But basically, let's look at that. The purpose of week 3 is principles of learning and assessment in a senior high school. So I'm going to copy that and I'm going to search Google to see what they have. All right, so I'm going to leave this open and I'm going to come here and I'm going to show you the next thing, how I prepare this week. The other option that I have is that I have a PDF file organized, and on this PDF file I have the codes ready for a tab that I want to add. So if I want to add a video, for example, I'll click on video and the actual coding for that tab will be designed for me quickly, and then I just go to HTML here and I Control V, and you can see that this is the tab for inserting a video, and here it is. Right. So now what I'm going to try to look for are principles of learning, teaching and assessment. Now this one here, this is really interesting because I've already reviewed this website, which is organized by Western Australia, and here I'm going to submit this. I've already included this link in week 3. You see, here's Western Australia, and so by thinking seriously about the integration of ICT in the classroom and material design and technology, then I started looking for all the states, and here's the interpretation of the ETSOLs and the ACARA standards for design and technology, and I provide these to my learners. And it's interesting that whoever designed the website before me actually used that very same website. Now here we're talking about the principles of teaching, learning and assessment. So these are what I will do next is basically scroll down and have a look at assessment, which is fairly straightforward. There's no sample is what I'm looking for. There's no samples. There are no samples. There's no curriculum design. There's no real explanation of what assessment is about. It's just a definition and an interpretation of assessment, but it doesn't provide with all right, it's just general ideas. Learning experiences should be motivating and the purpose clear to the students. Well, yeah, that's fairly broad and general. This being stated, the unit, so I'm going to copy this link. The unit that I'm currently fixing is about is for year 2 ICT learners. So I'm going to go ahead with inserting that link. So I'm going to get this one, I'm going to clear this, and I'm going to say that it's reading, but we're going to call it e-reading. It's not an assessment. So we're gonna just copy this. All right, and we can close this, and I'm gonna come here. And I'm gonna put my link here, but here we're gonna put so the link is from West Australia and Western Australia assessment guidelines. So the next thing that I'm going to do is that this font is a little bit small, so I'm just going to make it 14 points, and it just makes it easier for students to read, and I'm going to include the link here. Now what I do is I usually put it as an open in a new window because it's faster. If I use the other format, then it's actually going to open in another tab, and then it will open in another tab again, but at the site required. So here it is. Okay. So just to show you, this is module 2. And so module 2 is about the same style. There's 1, 2, 3 links here. So in terms of learning process or learning content, there's not a lot of learning. And if I were to assess or reflect on the use of ICT in the year 2019, I would have to say that that's probably not the best design. It's interesting, but probably not the best design. It just needs to be a little bit better, a little bit more colorful. There's not a lot of reading, so I will eventually do some searching for the reading. Module 3 is fairly similar with 10. So there is a little bit of content, but not a lot of content. I'd like to show you another unit. Another technology unit. So what I do, these are my announcements, but I want to show you. So you see, this is again designed by another technologist. For me, this is a little bit cumbersome because I have to click and click and click. And so then I arrive at content that's fairly dry. There's not a lot of videos. There's not a lot of content that enhances students' understanding and applicability of digital learning. All right. Theories and theorists again. So I added this element here, but this was from the previous person. Now I added this and I added this because emerging theories of learning and the role of technology. There's quite a lot of articles out there that need to be read. So there's that. But this is what I find interesting. Is you see, this is a unit that is on offer, and there's absolutely no content in module 3. So whoever was in charge of this just left it blank, and so now I have to kind of formulate a module, and I have to design this whole module, and I have very little suggestions, or I mean, here there's STEM, but if I look at the unit outline and what the students are supposed to learn about digital technology in a 21st century context, then that's not really good. It's not really good at all. And if I look at module 4, there's absolutely nothing again. All right, and it's the same spiel up there with STEM. And so if just for information's sake, if I come for the unit information, and I will open this for your benefit, I look at what the students are supposed to do. What the students are supposed to learn, The aim of this is to support development in critical thinking about curriculum and assessment of digital technologies. So the content, that we've just seen, the fact that there's nothing there already, I have to interpret what this means, and I have to look for information regarding the social and cultural context. That's fair enough. By investigating perception of digital technology in relation to sciences, social sciences, and humanities, that's probably where the STEM comes from. But it's pretty vague because it's digital technology. So what I think about is like, what does it mean to be using digital technologies in sciences or in humanities? And what do the students really need to learn to manipulate as software and hardware? As I was saying before, it's 21st century digital education, right? So when the students graduate from this unit, what will they be able to do? That's the question that I ask myself is, will they know some random theorist in France, or are they going to know prominent theorists out of the US that try to explain what the type of technologies that have to be used in order to assess students in second language acquisition, for example. All right. So that's the question that I ask myself. Is sometimes theorists are nice, and I don't have any problems with theorists, but I really have to put it within the context of education. Now, will be explored particularly in relation to application of big data, data mining, and learning analytics. So here I have to sort of guess what this is about. I mean, I understand the concept of big data, data mining, and learning analytics. It's basically trying to understand what our students do in the classroom, but how do we evaluate them? How do we collect this big data? How do educators go about collecting big data? How do we go about data mining in the classroom or in the school, right? So this is something that I'm going to try to put or to investigate in this area, digital assessment tools. All right, so how do we go from the word big data and data mining to digital assessment tools? And especially there's no link. All right, so and basically what I do is I just go through this. The other thing that I do is I look at the learning outcomes, critically appraise the links between society, culture, and digital technology curricula. Okay, that's fairly easy to understand. Demonstrate and understand the digital paradigm, and educational theory. Now, I don't have a problem with educational theory as long as these theorists are coming from an education background. I'm not talking about higher education. I'm talking primary to secondary. All right. In this sense, I would look at Vavula or Naismith, that are researchers in the educational field, and they're merging on theory, but they're more into summarizing theory rather than setting up theory. Explain, apply, and evaluate usage of big data. So explaining is fine, evaluating is fine, applying might be something different because it means that I have to give them something to test. And so here, maybe while I'm thinking about it, in this video, I think that I may look for big data that's available through websites such as NGOs or UNICEF, for example, and try to get some of their big data and show it to the students, and then say, okay, how are we going to use this big data from UNICEF in order to formulate a research question that can be used in the classroom. So as I go through the unit description, the learning outcome, I try to think of ways or methods or approaches that I can include in these modules where there's absolutely nothing. The good thing is that I can reword all of this and change it to better align with with the unit description and the learning outcomes. So that's basically what I do. After speaking with you for 20 minutes, there are still no students online. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say that this class, and I will give a time. Okay, and I will send that so that the students know, and there's a record of my participation, or my attendance at least, in this unit for that particular week. Um, and the fact that I made this video that I will upload on YouTube, then it will be a process, or it will be a video that I can provide to the students in terms of how to time manage your digital time, basically, and making the most use of your time. I hope this video was informative in some way. If you're an educational technologist, then I look forward to sharing with you my ideas, and I look forward to searching the internet for other technologists that have videos about technology integration in foundation years to secondary school year 12. And thank you so much for watching.